Messing with players in Minecraft is extraordinarily fun, and I've got some pretty fun traps to show you. Yep, and we're going to go over all of these in a little more detail. However, there's one that wasn't in that montage that I want to show you. The problem is, it's in the 1.14 update, so we're going to head over to a snapshot server right now. Right, here we have our bait on the top. It's a normal desert, but underneath, we've got a whole set of scaffolding that makes its way all the way to the bottom. The sand is being entirely held up by all of these scaffolding blocks. The idea is that someone comes along and takes it, whether it's a diamond or whatever. There's then a mini earthquake when the frame rates all go janky, and then the whole thing falls and down the player goes, and there's enough torches there to prevent the sand from hitting the bottom. Now, the idea behind this is fairly simple. There is a huge amount of work involved just grinding, making this hole. The observer is everything. It sends a long signal all the way down, which then pushes all of these pistons into the bottom block of the scaffolding, which then sends everything coming down on top of these torches, which stop the sand. So it looks a little something like this underground, but when that signal hits, it all comes crumbling down, all triggered because of that bit of bait on top of the desert floor. Completely hidden and wonderfully executed. But I have slightly more to show you than just this one, so let's head back onto my server and take a look at some of those. Now, for the other traps, I've got my good friend Dom Rao to be my guinea pig for all of these over here. So Dom, if you're ready, let's begin. This first trap that I want to show you is actually only possible at night, but basically we found out that you can detect when someone sleeps in a bed. So if I make it nighttime, and you go ahead and sleep in there, Dom, basically you can't. Your bed is gone because you can detect it with an observer. And because you can get a redstone input from that, or output, you can do more. So Dom, if you come over here and sleep in this bed, I think you probably know where this is going. It even lights up around him. Bye, Dom. Of course, you can put more TNT in there if you want, but it's fairly simple. If I just open this here where the bed used to be, you can see how simple it is. Literally, redstone dust underneath the observer, and the TNT will all go off. It's very, very simple. Now, let's move on to some of the more complicated ones. So, this is my fake bedroom, shall we say. And there's a bit of redstone on the top, but we won't look at that too closely for now. Let's just pretend that this is inside a house and I've rigged it to go. So let's go on inside. And right, let's pretend that this is your noob house and someone has just randomly placed some trapdoors on the walls. And you're like, what's that? So you either interact with it or try and remove it. Go ahead, Dom. And there's a pufferfish rave going on. Now, if the more pufferfish you cram in there, or the smaller room you get, the more damage it can do. Obviously, Dom's not really playing along right now. But if you make it so that you're in a little bit of a ditch here or something, or even open up the floor, those pufferfish will get you very, very quickly. You've one-upped me again, Dom Rao. So the redstone behind this one is, again, quite simple, but to me, who doesn't do redstone, it's actually kind of complicated. So depending on how good you are with redstone, you may find this easy or complicated. And I have to thank Iskal for putting this together for me, as I was really struggling with the timings. So again, we've used an observer, and the signal travels along here into a couple of droppers, which just extends the pulse and sends the signal into a few pistons. Now, if I reset this really quickly, you can see how it operates. So the pufferfish go in here until you can fit no more. There you go, they're crammed in there, and then I place a block over the top. So the observer takes the impulse, sends it through a slight delay, and then it will trigger all three of these pistons in the right order in order to remove this ceiling block here, and then push the pufferfish into the hole where they then fall down. Now, because this block here occupies the space where the pufferfish were, the water just disappears and they all fall down in a great big heap. Dom Rao, if you would activate it for me, I can show how this looks when it's all going. There we go, retracts, and then pushes them in. So this is the orientation of all of the repeaters if you want to make this. There's probably a bunch of other ways to make this way more compact, but this is a tried and tested method and it definitely works. The point is the observer is the very quick impulse that they won't see coming. Alright Dom, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Now pufferfish are one of my new favourite mobs / item in the game, and this is a bubble elevator, and people use these in their bases all the time as it's the quickest method to get up and down without taking loads of fall damage. So basically this has been rigged to release our pufferfish friends and block off the top. Dom Rao, if you will do the honours. In he goes. It releases him, it traps all of the pufferfish in there with him, and there's really not a lot he can do. Yep, there he goes. Oh, wow, wow. So the redstone obviously triggers via a pressure plate. Now, a lot of people have these automatic water elevators that switch between a magma block and a soul sand, so this isn't out of place at all. So you use that as the redstone input, and we have a T flip-flop here, which activates a bunch of redstone back here. So we have basically a set of dispensers at the back, and you don't actually need this many. This is slightly overkill, but you do need this many pistons. Now these are all activated to begin with, and as you activate it, it then retracts all of the pistons to reveal the dispensers, and it has to be timed so that these retract first, then the dispensers, which actually just have eggs in them rather than buckets of pufferfish. They then dispense the pufferfish in there, and we also have a powered piston at the top here, which seals the top, and if it's all timed correctly, the player will get stuck in the tube with all of the pufferfish, and there's really not a lot they can do. They can try and swim out, but you'll just keep circling around. Okay, Dom, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Now, I'm actually going to have to TP you up here because this is meant to be above ground. So let's pretend that you're in your house right here, and I'm actually going to seal you in, and I'll join you in a second. Now, this is probably the most ugly redstone that's ever been conceived. So we're going to have to pretend that there's a redstone input in this house that Dom will press. Let's pretend that there's a button there. You'll see there's a bunch of other dispensers, and this time it's actually empty, but we have the soul sand at the bottom here ready to go. If we trap a bunch of skeletons in here, either by natural ways or if you find a skeleton spawner or something like that, the idea is that we put these skeletons really far underground so that Dom Rao can't hear them splashing around. This might not be far enough, but you get the idea. This is just a conceptual piece. So let's say that we've trapped this, and as far as Dom Rao is concerned, there's nothing really fishy going on here, except maybe a button or something. And then he presses that button, it dispenses water, which then sends all the skeletons up, and they act like a turret, which then very quickly send Dom Rao to his death. And they, of course, will attack each other, but then you can even time it so that it comes back down again. And they fall down into the water, but they will actually non-stop attack each other, which is really weird, but they can't attack each other very well. Like, there's just unlimited arrows there. It's a bit of a mess. So this is more of a one-time use thing, but it's actually rather clever how you can hide this underneath someone's base. And imagine if you did that with a bunch of creepers instead of skeletons. It would be absolutely devastating. Okay, Dom, it's nearly over. This is the last trap that I want to show you today. Or rather, you're going to show everyone else. So, I'm not even going to explain it. In you go, Dom. It's another bubble elevator trap. Yeah, so you would be expecting that. But then it pushes you up straight into lava. Now, I've shown this one on hermitcraft before, but it's just so easy to do. You're just not expecting it, because you go in and there's really nothing you can do. You can't fight it. You could try and swing your pickaxe, but by the time you've done that, the lava has already got you. Now, obviously, this doesn't work so well on a house like this, but in any other situation, just putting lava at the top and hiding it, you'll probably get somebody. Now, there's a little bit of redstone down here just to cause a bit of a delay. So you can see that there's normally nothing there, so there's no bubbles at all. So we've just rigged this up so that when you get the input, there's a sweet long delay, and then it goes in, and then it puts the soul sand there, which activates the bubble column and sends you up into the lava, and then off onwards. So those are all of the traps that I wanted to show you today. Of course, the scaffolding one at the start, and the lava bubble elevator, the skeleton brigade that will be shot up into the base, and then the pufferfish dispenser, this other pufferfish dispenser, and then of course the multiple things that you can do by detecting when someone sleeps in a bed. And a huge thank you to Lovey Dubai, who helped me conceptualize some of these traps, and big thank you to Domrao for being my guinea pig today. I'm super sorry that this had to happen to you, and a big thank you to Iskal for helping me with some of the redstone stuff, but I clearly needed a bit more help than that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck messing with all of your friends in Minecraft. Bye!